Well, just proves Victor didn't prepare. He didn't have access to the thing until now.
Yeah, I completely forgot about the show notes.
You just like show up. Yep. Yes, sir. I'm there.
Hello, my friends.
Thank you for joining us for the PEBCAK Podcast, a weekly information security show featuring some all-around good people. It is week 6 of 2025. I'm Chris Louie, and happy Valentine's Day to all you lovebirds out there. With me, I have my co-host, Havoc the Mouthpiece, who believes Valentine's Day is just another Hallmark holiday.
As with all holidays, just a money grab. We should do less of this, if you ask me.
Unbridled capitalism at its best.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's a made-up holiday.
I was walking in Target the other day, and I walked by the greeting card section. Apparently, Hallmark invented yet another holiday called Galentine's Day, and I think it implies that if you're single women, you get another single woman a card and call it Galentine's Day.
Oh, God.
My daughter did that this year, my little 16-year-old.
You literally can't make this stuff up. Like, these are literal Hallmark holidays.
It's just like, on February 15th, this is going to be nothing but Easter crap outside. It's like, give it, or no, probably Leprechaun Day. What's that one?
Easter.
St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah.
St. Patty's. Everything will be green on the 15th. You're like, God, really?
Not President's Day swag, Brian.
Is President's Day?
Who has President's Day swag? Yeah.
Like a George Washington powdered wig or an Abraham Lincoln top hat.
I'll be celebrating President's Day this year. Hardcore.
Right. President's Day is on Monday, right?
Yeah.
So
I'm going to take the day off.
You should.
So you're
you
right.
too, Chris. You can have the day off.
Right as an American.
So. That's right.
Victor has to work.
Yeah, well, if they were the 51st state, then
they would get it.
Get the day off.
And we have Glenn Medina, who treats every day as Valentine's Day.
That's right. You gotta go out and make your wives feel important, right? So take them out every once in a while and have a good dinner or lunch together, and maybe a drink.
Have a popcorn bucket at the movie you guys watch together.
There you go again. You and your popcorn.
Great moments in hookup history.
Our guest this week is our second most favorite Canadian, Victor DeLuca. Finally on, so we can recap our January challenges.
Wait.
Second most.
Yeah, hold on. Who's the first? Is it Trudeau?
Yeah. If you listen to our podcast from last week, it was Brad Lisoweski. We said he's our favorite Canadian.
Oh, I did, but I thought you just said that to make him happy. Because he's an only child,
He is an only child. He constantly needs praise and love.
I gotta admit, Victor probably listens to the podcast more than I do. But then again, I'm on the podcast more than he is, so I'm living it. So
yeah,
I don't think I've listened to the podcast yet.
As the producer of the show, I have to listen to it in case there are any f-ups on it.
Yeah,
which I've caught before. There've been a few times where someone's audio track was messed up, or we skipped audio in a certain section. I had to go back and change it.
I do listen though, only if I miss the recording. So
true.
I try to stay to keep in sync with you guys.
We're almost at episode 200. I think for episode 200, I'm gonna finally do the count and see who's been on the most episodes, who's been the most frequent guest, and hopefully pull some cool stats for episode 200.
Well, we know you as the host has been on every one.
I've been on every one. The only person that's been on every single one. And I even did the solo show one time because nobody else could make it.
And you promised never to do that again. Because you felt like such a loner talking to yourself.
It wasn't the best episode, but, listeners come first.
He was the debating master back then.
I was.
So for those dyslexic folks, it may come out odd. So
I got roasted for that earlier. I don't know why. I thought it was funny.
What, for having dyslexia?
No, for just my comment in the group chat.
Combined, we have decades of information security experience here, not just to educate, but to entertain. We've got 4 awesome stories for this week, so sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. This week, we're going to talk about ways to help grandma not get scammed, a backdoor in healthcare monitors.
You had that backdoor.
For our third topic, a magic packet backdoor. So 2 backdoor stories in one episode, Brian. Very excited.
2 backdoors in one. People said it was impossible, but Chris,
what will the cloud god do? Oh my gosh.
And close with the January challenge talk. For our first topic, Microsoft Edge is testing a new feature to block scareware tech support scams. This is the common scam that pops up a window with threatening messages that your computer is infected and you need to contact Microsoft support at the scammer's phone number to disinfect your machine. If you remember, this was the entire premise of Brian's favorite movie, The Beekeeper. Edge will use machine learning to add an extra layer of protection by comparing web pages to known scam frameworks. It runs entirely locally without saving images or sending anything up to the cloud to protect user privacy. Machine learning, among other things, will look for things like brand impersonation and scanning for commonly used strings like, quote, "Your computer's infected, call 888, their phone number to disinfect."
So are they using, I wonder if they're using the Chromium framework for this protection, or is this specific
let's see
to Microsoft?
An enterprise browser do this.
Hey.
Glenn, you know anyone that sells one?
Well, we know at least it can't be caught at the network layer, so the browser is the last defense.
Yeah.
Well, I like to browse the internet without a browser, so joke's on you.
He uses command line browser.
Curl God.
Yeah.
But he's using his flipper. He's using his flipper to surf the internet.
Oh my gosh.
The scam still comes in through a text string. Call this number to disinfect your machine.
Wait until Microsoft finds out that they're doing pictures and no longer just random text. Then they'll have to introduce AI that can do OCR.
That's going to be the natural
I thought
evolution.
that was possible already.
Yeah,
I thought that was possible already.
It is possible. I'm just saying I don't know that Microsoft's doing that. Do you?
Oh no. Well, who knows?
Yeah, I don't know if they're doing OCR. I mean, that was one bypass though for like phishing protection, because many web browsers have that brand impersonation phishing protection. Like if you say, enter your Wells Fargo password and it's not wellsfargo.com, well, that's an obvious scam. So they took a picture that says welcome to Wells Fargo so that the browser wouldn't be able to scan it.
That's interesting.
I
was just going to say, I triggered, a couple of weeks ago, I triggered the Chrome browser protection. It was the first time I've seen that message, and it was, I was testing a page, or I was browsing a page that's similar to the O365 login page.
Yeah.
So it was a copycat, and it said something like, "Oh, this looks like a copy of the official page," or something like that. So it's I think they go further than just looking at the notifications or the pop-up windows. I think there's actual scanning of the page.
So if they're doing that, that's Chrome. It sounds like it's Chromium based already, right? So it's inside Chromium. So Microsoft's just taking advantage of that inside of Edge.
I think they're building on top of it because Edge is Chromium based, but then they've written additional modules on top of it. Like they have that, I forgot what they call it, Defender privacy browsing or something, where they have their own VPN service. They can build on top of Chrome. So I think this is a feature they're building on top of Chrome.
Anyone else feel like
That'd be
Microsoft should be able to do security a little bit better? Their install base alone, you think that they'd be able to do cooler things than what they do?
Their install base or their browser usage install base?
No, the install base. It's just Windows, right? It's the most targeted OS, probably next to Android. And you think they would just have better telemetry and stuff that they could do to protect everyone?
Try and detect these scams and block them.
Yeah. Pretty soon the same AI will start doing URL categorization and sending it up to the cloud. You disagree? Why are you laughing at me?
No, I was laughing because I remember that Chris mentioned the Beekeeper in his description, and out of principle now, I saw the Beekeeper. I think it was on Prime or Netflix. So I couldn't remember the platform, but out of principle, now that I know that it's your favorite movie, I just will never watch it. I don't want to get the references. I don't want to. I want you to be pissed off.
Victor, you're welcome to date my daughter now. You have that blessing.
Well, I think more security is better, especially for when you think of the average user that falls for the scam. Probably not a Firefox user, maybe a Chrome user, but you would think that they just use the basically default install of Windows, default browser. At least that's another layer of protection to help vulnerable people from getting scammed.
All right, Chris, what browser are you recommending, buddy?
Brave. I recommend Brave.
And
privacy focused, Chromium based.
What about you, Glenn? I bet yours is something not Brave.
Personal?
No.
I would use Arc. Arc's pretty cool.
Arc?
Yeah. Arc is
here. Yeah. What about running Linux inside of PDF? Have you guys tried that yet?
I saw that video. That was actually pretty ingenious. It didn't have access to the network stack. So what can you really do inside there? Can you transmit data if you don't have access to the network stack?
I have no idea. Proof of concept. At least you can do it.
Yeah.
Talk about de-weaponizing PDFs now. That's
just
a whole other business. Yeah.
Yeah, there was a story 6 months ago or so, and it had to do with an Apple zero-day exploit for iMessage, and it was a weaponized PDF. And from what I remember of it, NSO Group, the notorious spyware maker, they built like an entire computer framework inside of a PDF. So maybe this Linux might be based off of some of that, maybe not, but they basically wrote an entire computer code inside a PDF, sent it to iMessage, had it execute, and that was the zero-click exploit for iOS.
I was hoping it'd be less complicated.
iOS is really locked down. So they have to get really clever and novel now. That's why those exploits are worth so much, because it's so difficult now.
So that's it. Like, that's a great parallel, right? Like, so you have the big three. You have Amazon, Apple. I'm sorry. Yeah. Well, what would you call it for Android? What would we call that? Samsung? Is like, who actually owns Android? I forget.
Well,
Android's Google, isn't it?
All right,
It's Google, but it's open source.
Yeah.
So you got Google, you got Microsoft, and you got Apple. Of the three, Apple probably has the smallest footprint, right? But they have the best security. Like, why is that?
Because they control their hardware.
Yeah.
They control everything.
They control the entire
every aspect
stack,
of it,
all the way down to the silicone.
So your position on this is because it's commodity hardware allows me to do nefarious things? I thought just kind of code.
Well, it's open.
Well, no, it's because
it's open and closed.
Yeah. It's open. You talk about Android in general, or
like Android. Windows
the piece of crap phone that Victor uses. Well, it's because they have to be able to be compatible to every driver, every type of NIC, cellular card, whatever,
every piece of hardware out there,
display and whatnot.
Like
HTC, it opens the door.
Huawei. It has nothing to do with it, guys. No, you have an app that's asking for flashlight app, right? It's asking for your phone book and your credit card and stuff like that's user error. You think that, but again, they still have this. They have the ability to collect this telemetry. You think they'd be doing a better job of security?
They could, but there's nothing forcing them to. That's the problem.
Yeah.
It depends how you look at it, right? We can bring it back to the Apple versus Android work versus personal partitions, which are completely segregated. So it depends how you actually interact with the phone or the OS. Because one would say, well, Android is safer for work because you don't have to mix up personal and work profiles, right? So it depends how you're using it, I think.
Then Android gives you the option to sideload apps, and you have malicious app stores, and it's way more open.
It's like the Linux of phones, right? It's like the
for
OS
better or for
Linux.
worse.
Yeah.
Do you want it more open and less secure, or do you want it more closed and more secure? It's a trade-off.
I want it more open and more secure, though. How do I do that?
Impossible.
So what if Android and Apple had a baby? Is that what you're saying?
That post didn't go very well, by the way. So screw you, LinkedIn people who don't understand short circuit. You suck. Worked really hard on that. I know Victor did not understand the parallels there, but that's okay.
I didn't even see it. There's a new one?
Yeah, it's okay. got lost in the mist.
You don't hit a grand slam every time, Brian. I'm sure.
I try to though. Like,
I'm sure
that one kind of pissed me off.
Mr. M.O. might have some choice words for you on that one. For our second topic, on the topic of what could possibly go wrong, a backdoor was found in 2 healthcare patient monitors that were phoning home to an IP address in, guess where? In China.
Western Taiwan.
Western Taiwan. Not according to DeepSeek, it's not.
We're gonna get demonetized here in China.
Just lost some social credit score for sure on that one. The U.S. CISA warned that the Contact CMS 8000 monitor is sending patient data to a server in China and downloads and executes arbitrary code on the device. Now, none of this activity is logged, obviously. The IP address is also hard-coded in software for other medical equipment, including pregnancy patient monitors from another Chinese healthcare manufacturer. The transmitted data includes the doctor's name, patient ID, patient name, patient date of birth, and other very identifiable information. Currently, there's no available patch for devices that removes the backdoor, and CISA recommends that all healthcare agencies disconnect these devices from the network if possible. The monitors are also sold under different brands, so everyone working in the healthcare industry will want to look at the CISA directive for all the affected devices.
So, do you guys remember, or have you seen the Shane Gillis skit where he's like talking about like terrorists and like them training and stuff, and like they're like they really don't know what they're doing. They're like they're on the monkey bars and hyping each other up. Yeah, and he's like they shoot the rocket, it goes the wrong way, but when they actually do hit like a vehicle, like they
celebrate
just as surprised as everyone else. They're like, oh my gosh! I feel like this guy in China, when data started coming back over there to him, he was probably the exact same way. He's probably just like blown away.
I can't believe this worked.
I know, like an IP address that's in China, like they're just letting this happen. Like this is dumb. Like all the way down to no matter how, like that has got the most basic thing. Like you should just be able to do that. Like how is that like not a standard operating procedure for every healthcare organization that's out there? It must be like some doctor that threw a fit that he like wanted to go work on brains in China and couldn't register, so they had to unblock the destination.
Lift the geo block, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's still pretty dumb. But good for him. I bet you that dude was like, I can't believe this worked.
Yeah.
Probably he's just playing the lottery now.
It's just like buying those Huawei routers and switches where that stuff was phoning back home.
Back to China.
Yeah. Back to China.
When I was in Rome, I really wanted to buy a Huawei phone and bring it here and throw it on the network and see what happened. But I completely forgot to when I was in the airport.
What was it? Didn't you say you had some things that were inside your house? Maybe a treadmill that was phoning home?
There were smart switches or the plugs?
You have a lot of automation.
Well, so a long time ago when I first started, I would go travel around and always buy discounted crap at Home Depot. And I came across some webcams, and they ended up, I forget the actual thing that happened, but I just remember that the latency on it was just so bad that I just trashed it. And then like a month later, I was looking at Zscaler logs and I had all this stuff beaking out to China. And it was like, it's supposed to be like a Samsung webcam, like a little 1080p. And then I think they sold the business off anyways. Like it was just terrible. That was the device that was going back. And then the other one is the Lutron hub that is going out to their actual website every single night, trying to download a Debian package that has an embedded piece of malware that Zscaler is blocking at the moment. If you're working at Lutron and you hear this, answer my GD emails. I keep telling you guys about this. You're doing nothing. I got old firmware running over in the Deech household.
It's the only thing holding you back from getting your network completely owned.
He's wondering why his light bulbs turn red every night at a certain time.
No, well that's the wild part. Like so, I've left it open. Like I don't really care because it is getting blocked by Zscaler. But the default gateway is Zscaler. So even if it was infected, like where is it going to go? You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
the default gateway was there, so it's going to block that command and control channel anyway. So
Yeah.
Until there's a chip or something smart enough inside of it says go Wi-Fi and hop to a network or a guest Wi-Fi network.
The nearest neighbor attack.
No access. Yeah.
Or like overheat and blow up and start a fire.
Yeah.
I'm good with that actually.
Something like little insurance fraud.
The story reminds me. I read a story about 3 weeks ago. It's about the RCMP, right? The Canadian FBI. They bought I think it was something like 200 drones, and they were made in China. So as soon as the boxes arrived, the U.S. said they were improper for border surveillance. So now they have hundreds of drones, Chinese drones, brand new, but they can't use them, which is kind of funny because it's exactly the same story, right? They bought stuff from China, and then now they just can't use it because the Americans haven't allowed these drones to conduct border
Could you imagine?
surveillance.
Could you imagine the purchaser of this is like, why are we going for these drones that are made in the U.S. that are like 1,000 times more than the ones that we get from China? The ones from China, we get pennies on the dollar. We can fly. Those are awesome.
Some procurement guy is counting his bonus bucks from saving them money. It's like, well, joke's on you. You can't use these drones now.
Yeah.
Like, what were they thinking? Like, using Chinese-made drones for what I would consider a national security issue.
Apparently, they're the market leaders. Apparently, they're really good drones.
Like
but
DJI.
Yeah, DJI.
Yeah, they
But
make
that's
a very
problem.
good drone, for sure.
Yeah.
But there's always that worry, is China going to backdoor these one day? It's
Brian has one.
exact same as the Kaspersky argument. Kaspersky's a good company. They're good people that work there. But the fact that they're in an oppressive country where someone can just come in and strong arm them into backdooring their software, that's too big a risk.
Could you imagine if all these drones just turned on all at the same time and started flying all over the place? Oh, wait, did that happen in the East Coast?
Happened in New Jersey.
New Jersey, right?
Apparently,
Did that get debunked?
Apparently, they were FAA authorized flights. That's the official line.
Yeah, highly doubtful.
If you believe the government.
Yeah. So I guess you come back to this. I mean, sending patient data to China, like heartbeats, medical information. What are they getting from here? Maybe patient data is important, but statistical human information. What are they buying?
Yeah, I was trying to think, how do they monetize this? I wonder if they're waiting for just some high-profile person to get hooked up to one of these monitors and says, oh, did you know that this celebrity or this politician has this disease? Something like blackmail? Like, I can't exactly figure out what the end game here was. Or did they just want patient data on U.S. people?
It's targeted advertising.
Medical
They
studies.
want to know all
Targeted
the obese
advertising,
people.
Yeah. True.
Yeah, like, oh man, there's an alarming number of people with diabetes and or type 2 diabetes.
But
they're overweight and they
Selling some
live in
Ozempic
California.
or some knockoff
Yeah.
Ozempic.
But I just I've played around with these healthcare patient monitors, right? It's normally blood pressure, it's heartbeat, it's maybe heart rate monitor, like so kind of like a
It's like vital signs.
EKG type, vital signs. So I mean, maybe a drip as far as like what type of IV, the IV fluid, but it doesn't tell you what type of IV. Maybe it does. I'll have to go look at that. But I mean, you're not inputting patient information to that. Maybe you can tie it based off the fact that it goes onto a health record and it's tied to Epic. Maybe that's the bigger thing, right? Is the fact that thing can web crawl the patient information system.
Yeah, it's probably connected.
Not necessarily.
There's probably, if there's an IP address, it's probably connected to the network, and then it probably can go left and right. And I was Googling this device. Specifically, you can get it for $500. So I doubt there's any security built into a $500 device. So
What's that network vendor say? If it's connected, it's
secure.
breachable.
Yeah.
Oh.
That was my thought too. So in addition to sending this patient data to China, the other scary part of it is it can download and execute arbitrary code. It's exactly that. Download a remote access Trojan, the things connected to the network. You can talk to other things on the network and then compromise it and move laterally inside this hospital's network.
I gotta admit, like what small hospital is using this stuff? Because you go to the big hospitals. I've never seen that one. It's normally like a Philips or some big brand, some Siemens or something like that. So this is
what?
It's that.
I'm looking at.
It's that
I'm
procurement guy, like $5,000 made in America health monitor, or $500 made in China that does the same thing.
What's amazing is I've never seen this brand in any of the hospitals that I visited, right? So this is a good thing. What's interesting is how many other countries that use this device that they're collecting information on as well.
Yeah.
So.
Well, as a Canadian, I wish I had this device. We have nothing up here. They just look at you.
Long lines.
Yeah, you're alive.
If we're going to talk about that later on, why do you have long lines to go see a brand new health clinic that opens in the neighborhood or a doctor that comes into the neighborhood?
Well, I mean,
But
it's
for
shorter
another
than
segment.
it's shorter than the bread line, so I don't know what you're talking about.
Is there any privatized health in Canada where you can just be like, I want to pay extra to be seen soon?
Yeah, and some of it is even illegal. That's a side story, but I know people that pay for illegal services because
illegal annual health checkup.
Yeah, some of it is legal though. Yeah, some of it is legal, but
what's it?
They also,
I'm sorry. What would be illegal when I'm checking my health?
I'm not fully aware of what's legal or not legal. But some interventions are legal, some other aren't. And usually there's a legal process. You need to get referred to a specific doctor, and you then need to go. If you have like a surgery, you have like private surgeries that needs to be conducted in certain settings with certain guidelines. And there's some freaky stories. If you Google them, there's a lot of weird stuff that people do just to get healthcare.
So they don't want like back alley doctors doing this stuff. Is that the gist of it?
Correct. Yeah, but that still happens because of the lack of access.
Very ambiguous answer, and this is the reason why you're a great SE. When someone asks you about your product, you can't do it. You just kind of talk circles until everyone's like, "Okay, this meeting's over. Let's go."
Why, Brian? Why, Brian? What's your pain? How do you usually do this? Is it a manual process? How much do you pay for that?
Oh Lord!
Deflect when you can.
Why now? Is there a compelling event coming up?
Yeah.
Look over there.
It's a bird. It's a plane.
Yeah. You talk about Android and Apple having a baby. Just kidding. Love you, Brian.
I love you more.
All right. And staying on the topic of backdoors for our third topic, enterprise-grade Juniper routers are getting targeted with a campaign called JMagic, where malicious actors can send a specially crafted packet to pop a web shell on the router and take control of it.
Whoa.
The malware is specifically crafted to attack the Junos OS that runs on most Juniper routers. Evidence gathered by the company shows that the earliest sample of the backdoor dates back to September 2023, with activity ongoing between mid-2023 and mid-2024, so about a years-long campaign. A majority of the potentially impacted IP addresses are said to be Juniper routers acting as VPN gateways, once again, demonstrating that having a VPN concentrator out there on the internet, listening for those connections is a bad idea. This is very similar to the attack where there was a backdoor private key in the XZ utility, where every Linux box could have been backdoored with a previously unknown private key.
Is that the one where when they were looking at the source code of Juniper, like they just came down so far and they're like, there was a note on there, it's like, do not modify anything below this line. We don't know what it does. And that turned out to be the backdoor that's hard-coded?
No, that was a different hard-coded backdoor that was allegedly put there by the NSA.
That was a government, yeah.
That was 3 years ago, I think, 4 years ago.
No, it had been longer than that.
Yeah, it might have been a while, but they during a routine code review, they said, well, did you put that in? No. Did you put that in? No. Like, who put this in there? Like, nobody knew. And then, like, yes, it's an NSA backdoor.
It was, 2015. Victor was 7.
Yeah.
All right, so you're off by a little bit, 9 years ago. But yeah, I remember that story.
Dude, that's insane.
5 years and 9 years is close? Is that what you said? Or 3 years? He said 3 years. You said 9.
I said I thought it was like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, Brian, yeah.
2015 sounds like 10 years to me, but... You know, who am I? I'm not going to argue math with Chris.
Exactly.
Yeah, 2015 was 20 years ago.
All right. Everyone, bye for
Yeah,
Nagomi.
Victor was only 7,
the-
so come on, guys.
The Canadian from the Canadian education system. Glenn's
right,
already
anyways,
bored.
backdoors.
Glenn's on his phone now.
Yeah.
You lost him.
No backdoors in enterprise browsers.
No.
Impossible.
Yeah, it's interesting, but like, how do you detect these things? Like, just like the XZ utility, it wouldn't get triggered unless you send this specific private key to that server. It's just like one of those hidden in plain sight things. I'm surprised they actually were able to find this.
Is there any mandate with, well, maybe federal type of stuff like FedRAMP, but is there ever like a mandate from a compliance standpoint that you have to do third-party code reviews?
I'm sure, yeah.
Publicly traded.
I'm sure they do.
Sure.
Yeah, you might not have to, like, you don't have to hand it over like the Chinese government, but somebody, I think, should be able to audit the code to make sure it's secure.
I think if you're doing FedRAMP certification, you do have to do that.
Probably hand over the source code, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think that Juniper sort of gave up on a lot of R&D the moment that the HPE news came out? Like, do you think they sort of stopped, improving or reviewing code or creating a lot of new innovation? I think that might be part of it, right? You stop innovating when there's an acquisition or an M&A in process.
Yeah, I mean, I'm that's happened before. That's tale as old as time, so I would not be surprised in the least.
And it fell through.
It did fall through? I thought it's still under review.
Yeah, didn't Dell buy them or something?
I think I remember reading that like 2 days ago.
But was it everything or just now they're just focusing on Juniper Mist or something? Is that a thing?
Huh. Okay, so DOJ sues to block it. So it's not a done deal. They have to fight in court because even when Activision bought Blizzard, they got sued, but that eventually went through after a lot of hand wringing and promises.
Wow. Okay, so yeah, it's still on the docket, but they're getting
still in
sued.
play. Yeah, yeah. It's just not as smooth as they thought. Which interesting that it happened 6 days ago because we had a new president. We should have new. Actually, I don't know if we have a new chair of the FTC yet, but this current administration is going to be way more M&A friendly. So we'll see if this is the old deep state that's blocking it, or if we get the new chair of the FTC that's much more M&A friendly. All right, and since I brought up the deep state for our last topic, and it'll be a rotating topic every week, this week we're going to talk about our January challenge wrap-ups and how we all did. As a reminder, we did 2 challenges. One was the $100 Polymarket/Kalshi challenge to see who would have the most money at the end of the month. And the other was our fitness challenge that we challenged our listeners and us to run at least 1 mile per day for the month of January. I ran 69.42 miles, surpassing our goal of 1 mile per day. I thought I did pretty well, but when everybody else posted their numbers, I think I got blown out of the water by Brian and someone else in our group chat. 2 other people at least in our group chat.
Wait,
someone did like 150 miles, right?
Yeah.
So
wait, whoa! You ran 69.420 miles.
Yes.
All right, just so we're all
Wow.
on the same page. You're gonna rant. Yeah.
No.
Brian caught on to that one.
Yeah. There was all right, so you're right. We need someone to do the math. I think it was
is that in kilometers? Is that what you're trying to do?
maybe no, I wrote it down correctly. So yeah, how many miles you put in, Glenn?
38.
38. Hey, you did
At
it.
least you made it.
38.5 something.
At least you hit the goal.
Nice.
Oh, yeah. It was hard. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Dude, good job though, man. Like considering we kind of live a sedentary lifestyle, and if you're not already running, that's a big. If you would have asked me to do that last year, I couldn't have done it.
Yeah, no, and I actually started running towards the end of it, so it was good.
Nice.
Yeah, and you did Dry January as well, right?
Heck no, I wasn't doing dry January. Are you crazy?
I did.
I ain't no quitter.
I did dry January.
I don't do dry anything. Come on.
I didn't rope these guys in because they hassled me last time. Like, I didn't sign up for that, so I didn't even include you guys this year. But I did dry January.
Maybe dry February, but never dry January. Well, no, you can't because there's football. So yeah, no, it's just never a good time to do it. So.
And what'd you put up mile-wise there, Vic?
I had to convert it. So I ran 33 and then I walked another about 12.
12. You're not like one of those other guys that was on the pod, right? Like, I walked 15 miles to get to work or 15 kilometers. I'm like, what the heck, dude?
Yeah, no, I have a job so I can afford a car.
Yeah. So, no, kudos to the guys that were on the challenge with us. Some of them were crazy.
Yeah, even people that we had somebody in Canada where it was like not Victor, but somebody else in Canada where it was like negative 20 degrees every day, and they still managed to put up some impressive numbers.
That wasn't Ben.
Ben's not Canadian.
No, that was. So yeah, like let's work it from the bottom up. Worthwhile people that did great but didn't complete was. I don't know if we should be saying last names or not, though.
You just say first names.
Yeah, I'm gonna say
or initials.
James,
or initials.
Right? Like he didn't get to the 31, but he also doesn't run anymore because he's got like jacked up knees or something like that. So it was a big push for him.
He was rowing though, right? He was rowing. He was
no,
doing
that's
other stuff.
that's the other gentleman.
Okay.
Let me see here. I didn't actually write his down because he never summed it up. It was Rob, but yeah, Rob was doing a ton of rowing. So there's that. Then there was Kevin. I think we said that Kevin's out of the UK. We're England area. I have no idea. Germany,
I think.
Yeah, Germany.
Yeah.
He did really close. He got to 23.61 miles, but he also was doing CrossFit. So like, and now he's on a juice cleanse. So I expect for him to look pretty wildly different.
Call it juice cleanse when the top two shelves of your refrigerator are liquor.
Yeah. Dude, and then friend of the show, Ben, threw up some big numbers. So like really, like I kind of felt like it was supposed to be running, but then we just kind of opened it up to everything. And so if we open it up to everything, then it's a different story. But let's just kind of look at it for just a running perspective. So Ben actually did 42 miles in running with another 36 miles in walking, which is pretty stoked.
Wow.
And then where I feel conflicted on this, like, oh, we're just gonna do all of our cardio stuff, including walking, would be Yuval out of Israel, because he did 183 miles, 183 miles total, but only 78 of that was running. And I bring that up because I don't want to be in third place, because I did 116 miles running, and I thought this was going to be an easy W until, yes, Carla from Canada did the 152 miles straight running period. That's it. So
wow,
that's impressive.
I guess it's a point of contention. Who actually won? Do we sum it up? Is it the Israeli giant or the ice monster Carla? I don't know.
We all won, Brian. We all
won.
got out, and we
exactly. We all exercised more than we wouldn't have without the challenge.
Yeah. Did you? Well, what do you say?
I counted my workouts as well, which it was different than how many times I ran, right? So that was also, I don't know if people do that, but I can see that I worked out 25 times in 31 days. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and I think I was sick at the beginning, so I missed like 4 days at the beginning and then rocked it the rest of the month.
And I only counted runs. Like I walk at least 10,000 steps a day. You know, my house is 2 floors. I'm always running up and down stairs. Like I didn't count any of that. This is just like I measured, time on the treadmill or time running out in the wild.
You're lucky you got the 38 miles out of me. That was a hard one. I'm not gonna lie.
How's your back feel, Glenn?
The back feels good. It's my knees. Like for some reason, it must be the weight that I'm putting on. So knees hurt. So.
Speaking of weight, I would ask Victor if he lost any weight, but I'm assuming you just probably gained, right? You're already at like
muscle. 2%
body fat, so there's no way you're gonna lose any more, right?
I'm actually tracking in Withings. So I can tell you that I 157 in December, and I finished a month at 156. I lost about a pound.
Oh, okay.
No, that was just gel in your hair. Come on now.
He got a haircut. That was it.
Yeah, he got a haircut.
He lost a pound cutting his
Get
hair.
out of here. Get out of here.
I shaved.
Yeah, I could lose a pound if I shaved my facial hair too.
No, I can't.
Yeah, so I will say
It
I
just doesn't grow.
didn't weigh myself, but just feeling wise, like I did, what I would consider a good amount of running in miles in January. I did dry January. I don't feel the least bit better. Like I don't think I look any better. My pants don't fit me any better. So I don't know if I'm just at that age where my metabolism slows down and it's just not enough, and I have to burn the candles on both ends and stop eating so much Taco Bell too. But in terms of
that's
dry
the real
January
question.
and running,
How many
apparently
McRibs?
it's
Let's
not
put it
enough.
that you don't have an average order of Taco Bell. You're like 50 tacos, 30 burritos, right?
To my
All with
credit,
fire Diablo sauce.
I actually
Come
did
on,
not
man.
eat Taco Bell the entire month of January. The last time I had it was when I sent you guys that group in the picture in the group chat of that absurd amount. And that was December. That was like my last hurrah because I knew in January.
explains
So what does that
the
prove? It
earnings
doesn't
dip
matter what your
on
diet
Taco
is.
Bell.
You still feel like crap.
Apparently I can eat and drink whatever I want to. It doesn't make a difference.
You were saying, Brian? Sorry.
Oh, that Taco Bell did their earnings release, and that's why they had the little dip, because Chris wasn't investing so much in
He
his
wasn't
diet in
trying
there
to
anymore.
change, right?
I will say though, the one measurement where my Apple Watch health app said, "Hey, you're doing way better on," was my resting heart rate. I got my resting heart rate down to like 52, I think, in the month of January. So pretty.
Nice.
I mean, it's that one. That's pretty good. That and then the cardio recovery rate went up significantly as well.
Cool.
I noticed that as well. Like when I first started running again, like not like 0.1 miles, like at 6 miles per hour, like my heart rate was at 160. I was like, oh my God, I'm so, it's horrible. And so now like this morning I did a 4 mile run, and I think, I forget what the average was, but the peak was like only 143. So it was like, and that was running
your
at like
cardiovascular
8 and 9.
health.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, we got to drop, guys.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's switch over to the Kalshi / Poly Market bet. This one's an easy one.
I was the winner.
Apparently, Glenn. Well, how much did you actually end up with? Because you sent us your bets, but you didn't tell us how much you ended up with.
Oh, I think I lost $4. I think I ended up at like the last screenshot was like $96.
So you did not win because there was one of us that ended up with at least 100.
Was that Brian? Because he didn't put a bet in. No, come on, dude. He didn't even participate. He just threw money inside.
He just
there.
didn't
That's
know.
crap.
He didn't know how to. It's different.
How
No,
can you
I didn't-
how to? No.
I
No,
don't trust
win.
the
I'm
app.
sorry.
I wasn't connecting my bank account to it. I was like, I'm out of here. No way.
Yeah.
How much did Victor end up with? Because you sent us your bets too, but you didn't send us the final balance.
So yeah, I was up to $165 and ended at 0.
Oh, so that was. He did get wiped out on that
Took
one.
a couple big bets then.
And then I messaged the CEO, and then he answered, and then we had a short discussion, and that's it.
And then he kicked you out the platform.
No, I still have an account.
All right, so if we not including Brian because he didn't participate, so we'll disqualify him. He didn't win; he got disqualified for not participating. So Glenn was first. I don't know how we break the tie between Victor and I because Victor and I ended up at 0, and then I guess maybe who went
You
out
guys had
first?
big bets.
I went
You
out
guys had big
like
bets.
maybe the 17th of the month, I'd say.
Oh man. Yeah, I'll tell you what was your biggest bet that you made money on during that time?
Because I took the strategy of I got to go all in because I was expecting this to be competitive. So every bet I made was all in. So I started with 100. I think I went up to similar to Vic. I think I was up to about 160 or so. So these are my bets. So I bet Nosferatu, whatever that Nosferatu, that movie. Rotten Tomatoes above 85%. I won that one. I think that got me pretty high. I bet on Tesla deliveries over 500K in Q4. I lost that one. I thought that was a slam dunk. They did 490, so close, but no cigar.
Damn them.
I won tech layoffs up in November. I had a gut feeling that tech layoffs would be picking up. I was right in November. And then the two that wiped me out, because again, I went all in on each of these. Top iPhone app for January 12th. I thought it was Watch Duty because of all the fires in LA. It was number one for a number of days. I thought, gonna keep the streak up. The fires aren't going anywhere. Lost that one. It lost to Lemonade because of the TikTok ban. So I had two things going against me. And then the last one I lost, which wiped me out, was Ozempic and Wegovy prescriptions up 10% or more. I thought there's a lot of fat people here in the US. I think that, Ozempic prescriptions should be
10%. That's all you were asking.
Exactly.
Wasn't a lot.
So no. So apparently I lost that one as well.
Yeah.
Then you want to go because I know you have to go. Do you want to read off your bets real quick?
Yeah, I think my big bet was the Kansas City game. So
You bet on the Bills?
No. I bet on Kansas City.
Oh.
Yeah, I bet on Kansas City, and they pulled through and got my $49. I was down. I was down a lot.
The big bet in terms of winning. Yeah, got it. So you bet on
big
Kansas
bet
City.
was
Okay.
Yeah, but everything else was like $3, $5, and I wasn't making a lot, but I wasn't moving a lot either. So yeah. Some really losers, some big losers.
Well, what else did you bet on?
But anyways,
other than that,
who's going to be the Secretary of Defense, which I got right.
Exa.
Yeah, the one that I thought was going to go through was which country will Trump impose tariffs off on in the first 48 hours? He didn't do any.
China.
I was like, damn it. Yeah.
It took 2 weeks. Yeah, instead of 2 days. But yeah.
The one I should have made a lot of money on, but I bet small, was how many January 6th protesters will Trump pardon?
Yeah.
And I bet over 500, and
yeah,
that paid out. Yeah. The big one was, I thought he did speak, but maybe I was wrong. Who will speak at Trump's inauguration ceremony? And I put Elon Musk, but I got paid $0. But I thought I saw him speaking at the ceremony.
He did. He spoke. I don't know if this is like a nuanced thing where he spoke at like an event before the inauguration or at that. I don't know.
That's what it was.
But he definitely spoke. That's when he did the "My heart goes out to you" hand gesture.
Yeah. And that's why I thought I had won that, and it was like no. And that's why you saw how highly upset I was. Yeah. So
pretty damn good, Glenn. Good job, man.
Yeah.
Well,
all right, guys.
All right, Glenn's got to lead. The three of us will continue. All right, go.
Mine were pretty aggressive. I bet a lot. I won't say all of them. There's over 25. I did bet on everything. Like
he was like parlaying these things, like $2 here, $3 here.
More than that, because I was up and down a lot. So I bet on like a soccer game. I bet on will ChatGPT 5 be released by June 30th? Will Trump pardon January 6 protesters on day one? Will Trump attend the launch of, I think it was SpaceX Flight 7 or something? I bet on Avatar 3 to be the top grossing movie of 2025. I bet on there will be no mega quake in January. I bet on January not to be the hottest month on record. And the one that paid off the most was I bet that the Palisades fire would not burn more than 40,000 acres by day number 5.
Can you imagine just profiteering off of people's losses? There's a meme of, is it like two lobsters and they have like a knife duct taped to the hand and then like people are like betting money on like that's what it feels like how many homes are going to get burned down in this fire.
Yep.
So just like a rocket going to ship or rocket going into space, I need to peel off this podcast as well, boys.
All right.
Victor, I hope you don't have a dumb joke. Womp womp.
See you later, Brian.
Later, boys. Thank you.
All right. On that note, I guess it's time to move on. We continue to get great comments about our dad joke of the week.
Dad joke of the week.
This week, our guest Victor is up.
All right. What concert cost just 45 cents?
Is this a 50-cent joke?
50 cent minus Nickelback.
Nice. Wah, wah, wah.
Wah, wah.
All right, to wrap things up, Edge is getting better tech support fraud detection. Healthcare monitors have backdoors sending data back to China. Juniper routers are getting remotely owned, and keep exercising and stay healthy. That's all I have for this week. We hope you enjoyed this week's episode. You can find us all on LinkedIn. Links will be in the description. Follow us on Instagram at the PEBCAK Podcast. Thank you to our listeners and subscribers who rate us 5 stars in the iTunes Store and Spotify and left us a review. We appreciate you all spreading the word to help grow the show. The best way to find us is to search for the PEBCAK Podcast on your favorite podcast listening app. My co-hosts Brian Deitch and Glenn Medina, and our guest Victor DeLuca. I'm Chris Louie. Thanks for listening. We'll see you all next week, and as always, have a nice day.
Bye, Felicia. Only real OGs stay until the end. Go to hell, Glenn and Brian.
Indeed.
Have a nice day.